Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and if you're new here, welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing some BT12 testing from our locals. Unfortunately, BT12 is delayed here in the UK, so we're resorting to testing for proxies. So this is how we're going to be keeping up with BT12 for the next couple of weeks. This is actually the finals game, because A, it had the best camera angle, and B, Bagramon in finals. You'd love to see it. Red Hybrid on the left. I think by the time this has come out, it will be Marcio's deck profile on Bloomlord would have come out. But switching to Red Hybrid for the next format. Sambomon setting up, gets the U and is going to load him up. We swing in, hit a hybrid though, unfortunate. I think the hybrids are traditionally a pretty rough matchup for these kind of purple fodder decks where they swing in. Clockmon going to reveal 3. There's a Soundbirdmon, a Restrimon Superior Mode, and the new Hunter U Amana going to the bottom. So this has been the list that we've been cooking up for a while. It's using a little bit of a spicy top end. A bunch of Hunters cards being teched in. Digivolution up to the Featureamon is going to delete the Clockmon. So not going to be able to use that to prevent the block, and we're just going to let everything go through, and we are going to pop the rookie in order to just choke at 1. You can see the Tagaru in hand. We're not really going to be able to commit much to the board right now. And we do actually have the Superior Mode in hand, so we could try and go for a Bagra play, then Digivolve into Superior, but instead we're going to go for the Bagramon. A little bit of a thought experiment, just seeing whether it's worth giving Red Hybrid memory this early in the game in order to get the pop. So if he does Digivolve anything, then we will get the maximum value out of the Bagramon, which will take him down to 2. And sets up, not quite lethal, but very close to lethal. The Pokemon will reduce the cost of the Digivolution pretty much by giving back that memory. No memory blockers on the Bagramon side at all. It doesn't look like he has a rookie. He's going to try and swing in to try and get a hybrid in the trash off the Pokemon dying, but he's going to hit into the Choo-Choo-Mon, which keeps him alive. You can see the Digivolution route seems a little bit awkward now. 2 types of Takuya in hand. The Memory Tamer isn't super useful right now, but he is going to drop it just for future. And slight mistake here is this won't have Rush. Since he did Digivolve, we're going to pop the top card of Security, which is going to get rid of a second Takuya. And it's now going to be 12k, so if it were to swing into Security, it would give back the 2 memory, but obviously the card doesn't have Rush. Natural Sec +1, and it will pop something 6k or less, and pop much more. But yeah, this shouldn't have been able to swing because it was played this turn. Would have had to go over the other Takuya, which is going to give back the 2 memory. We didn't catch it. Only just noticed it really in recording. And does want to go over the extra hybrid, but is going to think about it. Instead, going to try and build up in the back. I don't know if they're playing around Astral or something like that. But either way, unfortunate that we're now kind of down to that 2-2 cycle. And like we just say, it's before BT12 is actually even out, and it's going to be delayed even longer for us. So like day -1 testing, there'll be a couple of misplays, but we'll iron them out through the games. And you get to see plenty of Bagra footage coming in, because I got glued to table 1 accidentally. And speaking of Bagra, I'm going to have him come down for, again, max value. Going to put the EmperorGreymon directly underneath the Pokemon once again to burn that last card of Security. If it survives, then obviously it's going to be cooking, but EmperorGreymon will pretty much just cook it straight away. To be fair, it probably doesn't even need it. It's going to go for the Blitz version of Takuya anyway, because he's got hella cards. Place all 5, pop the Bagra, and then it will swing for 3 checks. 1, 2, and it's going to be Boko for game. Game number 2, going to be having Bagra go first, of course. Just want to accelerate that game plan. Going to see the Uamano setting up for the Soundbirdmon once again. Yoko into Flamemon in the back, and then going to go into the Agunimon. The question is, how little memory can you pass? He's going to drop the Searcher Flamemon for 3. He's going to find a hybrid, and that new Agunimon going to get scooped up. And we are going to swing, place a purple underneath, which is draw game 1 memory. Which means we now can play a Tamer, once again hitting the Takuya. Now, do you play the Taiki or do you play the Watchmaker? We're going to go for Taiki. And we're going to Digivolve for what would be 2, reduce it by 1. And then we get to play a Tamer if we see any, but instead we're going to bottom deck 3 pieces. The new Digimon, whilst it's not Bagra tag, so it can't be played straight off of the U, it's a very, very solid card in terms of just the fact that it lets you play stuff for free. Could go for the new Shoutmon King mode, because it, kind of like the old Dame, lets you just play one of those guys if they're in your hand, rather than having to just cycle the top deck. But it's not got Digimon in the name, which makes it a little bit clunkier with the Tuamon and stuff like that. Gonna see the Agunimon swing out. And he is going to hit into security. Is going to live. The Digimon, the old one, is a 4k DP, so just barely safe. So it doesn't get caught by the DP chain. And actually doesn't get to play a Takuya for free or use the Yokomon on deletion draw. So he actually wanted that to die. Going to Digivolve for 1, and it is going to pop the Digimon because it has the hybrid in source. So save off the money draw, saves the Digimon, that saves the Soundbirdmon from trash, which passes over 1 memory and brings an end to the turn. Probably could have Song of the Flame on first. Would have thinned his board just to play around an Astral. You do see the Quartzmon drawn into hand now. I don't know if this is a turn that you go for too much. You could reduce the cost of this to make it 4. I actually can make this 0. Use the Uemano to take purple sources from both Tamers, which does, with the Digicross, make that a 0 drop. Which will set up a little bit more board presence. We're going to go into the Aristogramon Superior mode, put the Digimon underneath, and then we're going to put the Burning Grey underneath a Flamon, most likely. Oh, actually, no, to put it straight under the Tamer, which is going to reduce the number of red hybrid sources going to trash. It does have blocker as well, so the Flamon, if it swung in, would just get chipped over. Building up in the back. 2 memory to play with. Not really enough to play a Takuya to board. Which is kind of what we're aiming for. We tested giving them a lot of memory in the last game, and whilst we probably shouldn't have gotten checked as hard as we did, it's still one to play around. And now, this is where the block timing becomes interesting. He's going to give it the +1 sec as well as the +3k, so it does actually live that first check. Enough to hit into the second and die straight off of that. So pretty much maximum value off the Flamon, and going to replace it with a fresh one. Going to pitch 1 to draw 2. Mo, and then we are going to set up. Who's getting loaded? We're going to begrudgingly load the rookie, which is going to give us the Digimon. I'm going to use the Digimon as loader fodder off the Soundbird, which is going to get the draw, hit a second Takuya. And that is certainly not ideal. 3 memory to play with. We could have the Aristogramon swing. It's not got jamming or anything like that. I'm going to play the Watchmaker for 3. Bottom deck, Bagramon and Blastmon. Adds an Astamon to hand. And we are just going to commit to the Quartz. So it's going to give a 9-cost Digivolution. Tap the Taiki to make it 8. Draw for Digivolve and then suspend everything, so we'll be gaining back. Looks like 3 memory off of that, pushes down to 5. No, it must have been 4 memory then. No, 3 because of the Taiki suspend. Yeah, so 3 memory, border's locked. At 5, I don't think, unless he was going over a Tamer, he wouldn't actually be able to get high enough to pop the Quartzmon. Obviously, you could just Gaia Force it if he ran something like that, but I don't think this list needs it, considering you do have that EmperorGreymon that, if you find it, could just out most things. You really don't even need the Gaia Force because you got that DP-based deletion. He is going to swing in, and we're considering whether to block it or not. We are going to just let it through, just to play around the potential of something coming out and just bursting us down. Everything is suspended though, so we should be good. Gonna drop the 3-cost Searcher. It's gonna look for a Takuya or a hybrid. I think we're going to take the Burning Greymon, surely. Because it seems like the main MO is to choke us down memory-wise as best as possible. It's going to Digivolve into the Agunimon, and then Digivolve for 1, most likely. Won't be that Slide Evo. But still, it'd be enough to pass over. No, he's going to give us 3 instead. Pokemon is an unsuspended target now that he's found both. And does double hit into the Tamer. He presents a lethal line here with 2 unsuspended. Gonna load the Troopmon, and the Astral is a possibility. I don't think it's needed. Soundbirdmon in the back. You see both Astrals actually in hand, and the Tageru. We just don't have the memory to play it without passing turn. We do need to commit to a swing, because that will suspend a Mon. So we will swing, which will actually get the draw, because it does have save in text. And we'll suspend the Flamon is the better target. The Pokemon doesn't present a Digivolution. And with 10 cards suspended on the field, we are going to trash 2 and swing for that final check. Now I just need to find a lethal line. If we did have Blastmon in hand, we'd be able to do it, but unfortunately it did get bottom decked. Going to Digivolve for 2 into the Dame, and let's see if we can find one. We will see the brand new U. And we will Digivolve into him. And we should just be able to go Asta here. The new U is going to reduce the cost. And that's going to play the Troopmon out. It doesn't have any sources, but it's just a wide enough board that he'd have to find a way to answer 3+ Digimon. And there's also the Soundbird. So really, it's can you lethal me in this turn? So you'll see the Pokemon swing in. It's going to hit the Asta. It will die. Evo for 1, but that will pop a Troopmon. And popping a Troopmon is enough to gain the memory back. Alrighty, we are back. 4 cards away from finding the EmperorGreymon he needed. This time he's got it in the opening hand and it's going to be going first. Veemon for 3 plays the Memory Tamer straight away. Not looking to get memory choked at all. I'm looking at the hand. Quartzmon is available there. I'm going to play the Shikurimon first and play the U. To be honest, I feel like the Gumdramon may have been actually a better start because then you'd at least be able to find more. We're going to on-play the Damemon, which checks top 3, finds the U and Tageru, is going to play the Tageru for free, so both of us setting up Tamers early. Ooh. Into the Burning Greymon, that makes a little bit more sense than going straight into the Emperor. Now, how is he going to go? Going to go for 1 into the Aldermon, which will put him into a 12k body. Going to swing at security. It's actually plus 2k, so it should be 14. Just barely gets over the Lilithmon. Gains back the 2 memory as well. And that's enough to go for 3. Pops the Dame, which is going to save. And then saves a purple from trash, which is going to give us a little bit of extra memory to work with. It's not fantastic, but it gets a little bit done. I'm going to start the turn, load up a Gumdramon. 1k at security hits the Burning Greymon. Is actually going to die this time, but it is a Demi-Mirror, so we do get 5th egged here. Do have to actually discard something rather than running that full save. We do load up. And it looks like we are going to go for a Digicross. Is that Bagra coming down early? It is Bagra coming down early. Only going to be putting 5 memory across this time. And that is going to trash the Atomic Inferno from the top of the stack. Game 3, I think, only was like 10 minutes left or something like that. So, overtime, a very real possibility here. Veemon obviously can't Digivolve, and he's going to be building up in the back. Plays the Tamer for free. Or for 3, rather. If he does Digivolve over it, then he's going to be losing some sources. Instead, going to swing at security. 4k, and that actually puts 4 Digimon in the trash. I mistook the Atomic Inferno for a 5th source, but that is just 4 in trash. So can't quite warp off the Takuya just yet. Burning Grey Digivolving in the back would cost 3, which would pass turn, but it stops you from actually getting chipped out by the Bagra. Draw. And now we do have to load. I'm going to load a Damemon. We've already got the Uemano, so it's not that useful. And the Uemano would provide us sources to go wide, but obviously this board should clear wide boards pretty simply. What's sad about the Bagra is it actually doesn't let you go into Quartz, because it's not a black source. It's not. Blastmon is the only level 6 in this deck that actually has that natural black source to go straight over it, so you are just always warping over level 5s. We go Troopmon, pass over the 1 memory. Just make things simple. It means you can't really do too much. Going to swing at security once again. He's going to hit the new Amano U, so we'll be able to load sources in order to gain memory back as well this time. The hand is kind of small. We have had to kind of commit a little bit harder than we want. The new Flamon is going to pitch 1, draw 2. And he's just playing around, not Digivolving as best he can. Most likely just going to be chipping in right after. We will draw. And you can see now we've got the Blastmon in hand, so we do have a very real win condition if we can push it further. But we are going to go into Astamon, tap the Taiki. And that's going to go Gumdramon, tap the U. And we're going to keep the Damemon sources back. All in all, I'm not fully sure I agree with this. Because it's now a lot of purple sources that are actually just going to disappear. It does allow us to choke to 1. But it is pretty risky, because it does mean that we do lose these purple sources. Because there's a very real chance that, yeah, he just blitzes, passes 3, and pops the body. And now we've lost 2 of our Uemano sources. If we'd kept those back, then we'd at least be able to Bagra straight after. The Bagra obviously does live, which means it is going to burst that top card of security. But we've got 3 cards left. I feel like the correct line of play here, you know, maybe you have a little bit more time. You swing into the EmperorGreymon, kill it. You swing into the EmperorGreymon, kill it, and then if you did have the Bagra sources because you hadn't committed the purples, then you'd be able to swing. You'd be able to just kind of like thin the board, but we are going to hit into Atomic Inferno. And it's OT, so we're just going to scoop it up here and let them take it 2-1. Hope you guys enjoyed everything that we saw on screen. We're going to be seeing more and more BT12 footage as the weeks go on, and hopefully eventually drops. Plenty of deck profiles coming your way as well. And as always, if you liked the video and made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.